Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Vin Coney, author, moments away. But first, Holly got a question for you. Hit the button over there.
Sure, what's your question?
Yeah. Well, now that we got that all straight away, whenever you go to the store and you buy something, you realize you didn't get exactly what you paid for it. It irks you a little bit, doesn't it?
I get even more irked when I get food. I go out for food or get takeout, and it's not as good as I was hoping it would be.
I ask you because I can't ask myself because that would anyway. Simple Grow. I can ask. Simple Grow. You don't have to worry about that because they sell you 100% worm castings. That's it. That's all it is. There's no filler. It's what you paid for. Worm castings from Simple Grow.
Are you worrying about your plant growth? Provide your plants with what they need to grow to their potential. Simple Grow offers 100% organic worm castings at simplegrow.com. Unlike other worm casting products, which you order from Simple Grow, you are getting 100% worm castings, not filler, plus castings. You're getting exactly what you paid for. It provides ideal soil structure and aeration with Simple Grow all natural and odor-free worm castings. It's just worm castings, no chemical additives or anything like that. It doesn't smell like other fertilizers. You can use it indoor and outdoor. You can buy it by the bag, bundle, ton, or truckload. You can find out more at simplegrow.com. 100% worm castings, simplegrow.com.
Holly, let's go to the Proclamation Hotline, brought to you by Proclamation Goods, and bring in our guest for this week.
Ben Cohen is an author, herbalist, gardener, seed saver, educator, and owner of a small house farm in Michigan. He offers workshops, lectures across the country about the benefits of living closer to the land through seeds, herbs, and locally grown food, and has published numerous works on these topics, including a number of books in his most recent book, The Complete Guide to Seed and Nut Oils. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we thank you for taking time out of your day, not only to educate Holly and myself, which that's why we bring guests on, but also to educate our listeners across the country, and we're looking forward to this conversation we're going to have with you.
Well, I'm really thankful to have this opportunity to chat with you guys.
So let's start with this. Seed saving is an important practice for home gardeners. Why do you save seeds and encourage others to do so? Why can't I just go buy it at the store? Why does that not work for you?
Well, the benefits for saving seeds, there really are so many. I mean, we could talk about just the simple economics of it. The more seeds that I'm able to save right here on my farm, the less seeds I'm going to have to purchase the following season. So I certainly save money by saving my seeds. But by saving seeds, we also do our part to preserve the history of these varieties. Some of the varieties that we grow here at Small House Farm have been handed down from one generation to the next. We're able to trace a tangible history back on these seeds well over 100 years. So that historical preservation is a very important part of seed saving, most certainly. But I would think that maybe the benefit to seed saving that your listeners would enjoy the most is adaptation. When we select and save seeds from the strongest, best performing plants in our gardens, we save those seeds and we grow them again next year. Our gardens are going to give us healthier, better producing plants and far more delicious fruits and vegetables in our gardens. So that's really maybe the number one reason that we want to consider saving our seeds is every time we do so, we get bigger and better garden crops.
And I'm going to ask you this, and you can either agree or disagree. If you're going to save seeds, you want to be somebody that is good at organizing, and you always want to label what you saved because you're never going to remember what that was.
You got it, Joey. I can barely remember 20 minutes from now. So you are absolutely right. Being organized and having some good labeling is essential. It's going to save you a lot of frustrations down the line, for sure.
Yeah, you'll have this cup full of mystery seeds. Well, we know it's this, but we don't know exactly what variety this is.
Oh, for sure. That's bound to happen.
Well, you've written a few books here now. Your latest book, The Complete Guide to Seed and Nut Oils. What is it about? Give us we can kind of gather that, but what encouraged you to write it, and what is something notable our listeners may be interested in?
Well, the Complete Guide to Seed and Nut Oils is just like the title says, it's going to walk you through how to grow, process, or even forage well more than 40 different plants that we talk about in this book, all different oil seeds crops, things that you could grow right in your garden, things that may be growing in the wild, and we can gather these oil seeds and press them into delicious culinary oils right at home. So really it's a how-to book filled with a decade of experience, and that was really my inspiration. We've been pressing seed and nut oils here at Small House Farm for just about a decade now. And this is the book that I wish I would have had when I got started. All the trials and tribulations that we went through, the learning curve, figuring out the process, how to grow the seeds and harvest the seeds, the best way to process and press the seeds, all these different steps. If this book would have existed 10 years ago, it would have saved me a lot of heartache. So my goal was to take all of this information that I've learned over the years and compile it into one place so other folks can see just how easy it is to grow their own oilseed crops. We use culinary oils in our kitchens almost with every meal, whether we're sauteing some veggies or a salad dressing or whatever it might be. It's a staple food as far as I'm concerned. But when we think about growing our own food at home and in our own gardens, we often don't think about oil. But why not? It's so easy to grow and it's really, really easy to press. So I'm trying to demystify the whole process so more gardeners can get out there and enjoy the benefits of fresh cold pressed oils right at home.
When I saw your new book come out, I instantly thought, well, number one, you're teaching people how to press oils of things that you maybe can't find in the store, or if you can, they are a premium price because they're so, exotic, to lack of a better word, and oils in which you can press that they don't exist in the stores at all, and you can bring a different type of taste into your diet.
Absolutely. And we can do it seasonally. We could think about simple things that we could grow like sunflower seeds or even pumpkin seeds. A delicious pumpkin seed oil, like you said, it's a delicacy. It's hard to find at the grocery. And if you do, they're commanding top dollar prices for these things. But it's so easy to create these right at home. All of these delicious, delicate oils. And it's relatively simple to do so. So I'm really hoping that I can break down all the steps in this book to show people every way that they can enjoy these oils right at home, for sure.
Fantastic. So we were talking with Ben Cohen, author, herbalist, gardener, seed saver, educator, and owner of Small House Farm in Michigan. Now, you are an herbalist. What is an herbalist, and why is that significant?
Well, I would say I would define an herbalist maybe as somebody who studies the history and beneficial uses of plants. And we could think about perhaps maybe culinary herbalists that think about ways that we can utilize herbs to heighten the flavors and aromas of our meals. Or we could think about maybe medicinal herbalists, people that harness the powers of these plants for their healing qualities as well, So there's lots of different ways that we can look to plants for their benefits, whether it's simply in the kitchen or perhaps in the apothecary. And it's significant because nature provides for our every need, right? So learning about the plants around us, the plants that we can grow in our gardens, I think that's very, very important. It's just really, it's good for us as people, but to just learn about these plants as gardeners, as your listeners surely are, they love to grow the plants, but by studying herbalism, we can learn yet even more ways that we can utilize these plants in our day-to-day life.
And I was thinking, you said that you wish you had this book 10 years ago so you would know what to have done. Well, you've made the mistakes, so everybody else, they don't have to, and they can do it right the first time, which is a great appreciation from all of us that you've put the time into and messed a lot of stuff up to get it right for us.
I sure did mess a lot of the stuff up to get it right for you. Absolutely. And through the book, I tried to show some tips and tricks that I've learned, like even taking our hand-operated oil press and rigging it up to work on a bicycle, turning it into a bicycle-powered press. Now, it was probably 5 or 6 years that I've been pressing oil before I figured out that shortcut. But folks that read my book, they'll be able to start off right on that route to success.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, people hear the word sustainable living and they have misconceptions about it, like, oh, I got to be off-grid and live through the sun and the solar panels. What does that mean to you, and can people practice it on any level, no matter where they live or their income?
Well, yeah, I absolutely. I think of sustainable living, if I was asked to define it, which I suppose you just asked me to do, from my point of view, I would say that sustainable living is living in harmony with nature, right? Without doing harm to nature, without depleting her resources, using natural inputs as opposed to synthetic inputs in our gardens, But it's something that we can make it elaborate as we want, I suppose, but it is a very, very simple thing that any person can do regardless of the size of their gardens. They could live in an urban center. They could be growing on their balcony. That doesn't matter. It's very small steps that they could take to live a more sustainable life. It could be as simple as choosing to use natural inputs versus synthetics, like I just mentioned. It could be as simple as trying to compost organic materials from your kitchen. There's so many simple and easy things that we can do. And I think that that's the most important part. We don't have to overwhelm ourselves by doing everything. If we just do one small thing, baby steps, and if each of us did one small thing, the impact that could have would be absolutely tremendous.
Well, I know when Holly goes to the store, she does what she can by taking her reusable bags instead of using the bags at the store. And if I go and I don't have them, I get paper instead of plastic, because paper can break down a whole lot quicker than those plastic bags that's been around since whenever.
Absolutely right.
And that's how, just the little things like that makes a tremendous difference. And Holly, you can jump in here. Some stores will actually give you a little change back if you, does that still exist
yeah.
Okay.
What's funny is that one of the local grocery stores, instead of give you the 5 cents off per bag, they toss nickels in your bag, and it's really just random but funny. And you're like, why do I have nickels? And then you remember it's because you brought your reusable bags. So.
But they're paying you to help take care of the environment.
Essentially, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's fantastic. And it's just that simple, those little things like that. Maybe when we're at the grocery store, trying to be more conscious of purchasing produce that's not wrapped in as much plastic.
Exactly.
Or, visiting our local farmer's market, or just growing a few extra tomato plants at home. Very simple things like that, like I said, have a very, very large impact.
I also think it's kind of funny because they'll ask, like, if I'm, buy meat, they'll say, do you want this in plastic? And I'm like, I literally have reusable bags. I mean, I get that the cross contamination, blah, 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 whatever. But it's just like, I'm not trying to undo what I'm doing here. But anyway.
Right. It's like, no thanks, but thanks.
Right. So we've really enjoyed having you on the program. Again, how can our listeners find out more about you and your great information and your books and all of that?
The easiest way to stay in touch with me is via our website. It's going to connect you to all of our social media. You'll be able to see our books and all of our different products from our farm. So the one-stop shop for everything that we do is simply smallhousefarm.com.
Well, Ben, we greatly appreciate the time that you've offered us and the tremendous amount of information you've packed into this very short amount of time in which we could have talked 2 hours about. We thank you very much for that.
Joey, Holly, thank you both so much for having me on the show again. I had a great time.
Absolutely.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.